live from the Daytona 500. It's the show that got custom helmets, bro.
I love these.
All week we were talking about getting full jumpsuits. I actually think the helmets are better because it's less of a commitment. You can put it on, you know, wear it for a little while, safety reasons, and then maybe take it off. And right now we're thrilled to be here. The audience is thrilled too because we have these special microphones. Nick actually can't talk, so it'll be one of our...
I'm locked in, buddy.
Okay.
I'm locked in.
How is it with the helmet on?
I feel very secure, ready to race if they need me. This is an unbelievable...
It's been fantastic so far.
Awesome.
It's our first time at the Daytona 500. We're thrilled to be here. 68th running of the Daytona 500. Tons of storylines. We've got a power-packed guest list coming. And of course, we've got the Bud list too. I know that Nick is impressed by the grandeur of the place because, like my children, he just keeps asking about when he can go to the gift shop.
No, that's not true.
To the point where had to arrange transportation to get him to the gift shop.
Gear. I do want some gear from the Daytona 500. I think it'll be great.
But I was like, let's focus on the show, and then you can get to the gift shop.
Yeah, that is true. That is exactly what happened.
We are starting with the Great American Race. It will be Sunday, 12:30 on Fox. Tons of storylines before this race, none bigger than who you got. Here are the odds, Nick, and we'll start with you. Denny Hamlin at the top spot, Ryan Blaney, William Byron going for his three-peat. Kyle, he's tied the odds with Kyle Larson. Kyle Busch is coming on later in the show. Fastest last night, my guy Joey Logano from Connecticut. Also, Chase Elliott I like a lot. Brad Keselowski, who broke his leg in December. No, actually in January, he's walking around with a cane, but still giving it a go. So a lot of storylines here, Nick. We'll start with you. Who do you like? Not in pencil as we learn more about the race.
Well, I think the most interesting and storyline-laden result would be either of the Kyles winning. So Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson. So Kyle Busch, you already alluded to it, won the pole last night. He is going to be a first ballot NASCAR Hall of Famer, and this is the one thing he's never done. And this was his 21st start, obviously, famously. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won in his 20th start. And so for Kyle Busch, who's come close a number of times, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, he's won 2 season championships, to go from the pole to victory lane, which, by the way, has only been done, or has not been done in the last 25 years. Last person to do it was 2000. That would be remarkable. And then Kyle Larson, who is the defending series champion, but has really struggled, Brew, at the Daytona 500. 0 top 5 finishes in his career, only 4 top 10s. So the odds tell you those guys are very, very live to win this. Either one of them winning this thing and being kind of the final crowning achievement of great careers would be, I think, the best story.
Yeah, and if either one of them wins, they get the crown jewel.
Yeah,
both of them are going for that last of the 4 big races. So that would be great. But I'm going to surprise you guys. My guy was not among the favorites.
Wow.
But he is great on this track, and that's Bubba Wallace. I'm going with him. Now, first of all, 7 of the last 10 winners have been first-time winners here at Daytona. Mm-hmm. So he has never won here. He would be the 8th and 11th.
Very close.
But he's raced well here. Yeah, he's 21-22. He finished as a runner-up. He's also won another race here at Daytona. So in 6 of his top 10 finishes, he's got 10 top 10 finishes. 6 of them are here in Daytona. So this is the best track he races at. And so I think he's got a real chance to do something special here and win. And it would be the first win for, he represents Jordan and Denny Hamlin with the 2311 organization. It would be their first win at a 500, and it'd be appropriate because he was their first driver.
Wow. Speaking of Michael Jordan, just a little tease for tomorrow. Tomorrow, live from Daytona, most to gain and most to lose.
He should be on the most to gain.
Maybe for the first time.
Right.
I'm just saying for the first time.
That would be historic. Yeah. I've got 3 guys, and it's mostly a overview of my view on sports. Because as you know, I was watching the NBA this whole year. I look at the Oklahoma City Thunder and say, oh, man, Thunder sure look good. They could run it back. And as we just saw the mighty Patriots fall to the Seattle Seahawks, we saw the odds open up there. Yeah. Next year, I'm looking at the Seahawks.
Yeah, shocker.
I mean, I'm just giving like what the data is telling me. William Byron has won this race the last 2 times. Only 5 drivers have ever won back-to-back. He would be the first person to win 3 in a row. The interesting part about it is how much of this is his feel for the track, how much of it is a little bit of lady luck. He's only led the Daytona 500 for 14 laps over the last 2 races. That is a very different story than my other guy, Joey Logano. He's from Connecticut. When I was on another show, we had him on. I was like, hey, race car driver from Connecticut. But I've always rooted for Joey Logano. He already has won one, but he has led the Daytona 500 at some point in the last 9 races. So he's kind of the opposite. He's always in the mix, hasn't been able to get across the finish line first since his original win. And finally, Brad Keselowski. The Brad Keselowski story of he's taking his daughter skiing, drops her off, falls on the ice, breaks his femur. It's like, you break your femur? You're going to be out for 6 months. Like, no, turns out, was cleared recently. He's going to run. He showed up here. He's with a cane, but he has a great sense of humor about it. The cane has got sponsor stickers all over it. He says he feels better in the car than he does out of the car. He's 40 years old, looking to win. I just love the story of a quick comeback, so I'm rooting for Keselowski as well.
No, that's a great, and he's also in line for the crown jewel.
Well, so what Brew's talking about, because I know probably a handful of first things first viewers might not be super tuned in to the history of motorsports or what Brew's talking about when he says the crown jewels. 4 biggest races on the calendar: the Brickyard, the Coca-Cola 600, the Southern, and of course the Daytona 500. There are only 4 guys ever who have won all 4 of those races, and they are names that even the most casual of sports fans know. It is Jeff Gordon, it is Dale Earnhardt Sr., it is Jimmy Johnson, and it's Kevin Harvick. There are 3 guys who, if they win this race, that's the last crown jewel race to complete their, quadfecta, if you will. And that is Brad Keselowski and the 2 Kyles that I was talking about before. To go to your first guy, the guy who has won back-to-back, William Byron, what's interesting about guys going for a three-peat, because 5 guys have gone back-to-back. Mm-hmm. Only one has come even close to the three-peat, and that was Denny Hamlin in 2021 when he came in 5th. And as far as teams going back-to-back, like the Hendricks team, which has been the most successful, they have the most poles here, the most championships. We've never even had a team three-peat, right. And so this is Hendricks' 3rd attempt at a three-peat for their team, which obviously Byron winning would do that. And who was your other guy? Oh, Logano. Who I believe it's the record, at least modern record, most consecutive Daytona 500s having led a lap, to your point. He's just always in the mix.
That's what I'm interested in. We're going to bring Jamie Little on in a second. I'm interested in the strategy of how often you want to be ahead. So if you're ahead, obviously, you can't get wrecked. But at the same time...
Well, you can, though, because somebody the guy in 2nd or 3rd trying to pass you can wreck you, which we've seen happen to guys that they got wrecked because they were leading. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because somebody makes it on the last lap, makes an aggressive pass.
It's a rude move. If I'm leading, do not try to wreck me. I think middle is dangerous. In the back, you don't want to just get lost.
And William Byron, the last one that he won, it was probably, to your point, maybe a little more right place, right time than the first one, because of, to your point, he was in 11th late in that race, and then a wreck
9th,
or on the last lap.
Yeah,
maybe that's what I was thinking.
Amazing.
And then the wreck takes guys out, and he sweeps in, and all of a sudden goes back-to-back.
All right. Joining us now is one of the voices of NASCAR on Fox. Jamie, the note said this is your 12th Daytona. I just want to confirm that it's your 12th Daytona, because I don't know if we're counting visits or it's just in an official capacity. You were at the pole last night. You talked to Kyle Busch, so you've got all the storylines for us. What do you think is the #1 storyline. And also, obviously, thank you for joining us.
Good to see you guys. If you could have seen what just went down,
Wow.
It was like a full-fledged pit crew.
That's what I was
That's
going
right.
to, yes.
We were like
Moving.
dancing around in chairs here, got my headset on. It's great to be back with you guys. We
You
did
as
this
well.
at the Indy
Thanks for
500.
Yes.
We did, and you were gracious enough to have us to your home. It
had
was
a
so
party.
nice. It's great to see you again.
Met all my dogs.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
we know each
Yes.
other. Yeah, so good to be here. Gosh, the storylines, you mentioned it. Kyle Busch, 20 years this guy has been trying to win this race and win a pole. It's the most important pole of the whole year. The prestige, the attention that you get to lead the field to green on Sunday. For Kyle Busch, that's such a big story. So automatically it turns to the big story on Sunday. Can he win it? I mean, there's some stories out there, these champions like Kyle, 2-time champion that's never won this race. And that hurts. He's got one spot in his trophy case. It's the only thing the guy has not done.
So this might sound silly, but at least recent history makes it, I think, a legitimate question. Is it good to be on the pole for this race?
Yes, it's all the accolades. It's the money. It's all, well done team. You got the car dialed in. We had the fastest car, best engine, all those things. But it really doesn't matter.
Right, that's what I mean. That as far as your ability to win the race. So why is that? Why does there seem to be almost no correlation in this race between starting position and finishing position?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's a drafting style track. So what you're going to see on Sunday is the alliances. You'll see the Ford drivers trying to work together. You'll see the Chevrolet drivers trying to work together and the Toyota drivers. They try to organize it. It is a chess match at high speed out here. And that's why I love this style of racing so much. Not everybody loves it because the big wrecks, but that's the reason why a lot of people do love it. But it's choreographed. It's choreographed chaos. You will see things happen on pit road because they're trying to come in together or they're trying to work together and then they end up wrecking each other coming off at turn 4. So that, to answer your question, they can drop back together and coordinate and work forward, but you don't have to be at the front all race.
Well, we talked about earlier Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, all going for the crown jewel if one of them wins this race. Which of those guys would you say you feel like has the best shot to do that?
Gosh, I mean, Kyle Larson, this just hasn't been his style of racing. It's just been one of those things, and like his Achilles heel, right? The guy can win in anything, anywhere at any time, except for these style of tracks, and I know it eats at him. Kyle Busch, I would say, just based off of what we saw last night, obviously it's something he wants more than anything, and he's just one of the best we've ever seen in NASCAR. I would say Kyle Busch, looking at it now, has the best shot, but tonight are the dual races. We'll have a better idea who has that better looking car in the draft.
I watched your interview with Brad Keselowski. He had his cane. He feels like he's in good spirits. And just reading the initial report to go from, he actually talked about old school medicine and cutting your leg off that's how much his leg hurt, to the fact that now he's got a cane and he feels good in the car. Are you as surprised as I am that he's going to be ready to go, and how do you think he's going to perform?
I'm not so surprised because that's just how these guys are made. Like it doesn't matter what happens. They want to be in that race car and nothing else matters. And crawling inside these cars is not the easiest thing. And he's not the shortest driver. So for him to climb in, you see him walking with his cane right there. But a few years back, he shattered his ankle in a test crash. He came back 4 days later and won the race. I mean, it was just that motivation, that drive. And you get in that car, those guys strap in, and adrenaline takes over. So honestly, he's a guy that's never won this race. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled it off.
To that point, Brew had a wicked cough like a few months ago. Didn't miss a show.
Yeah.
So well done.
I play hurt.
Yeah.
I play hurt.
The Vegas favorite, at least, is Denny Hamlin. He's won it 3 times, trying to become just the 3rd driver ever to be a 4-time or more champion. And he was perennially, he won it, like I said, 3 times and had 5 other top 5 finishes. And then since they've gone to the next-gen cars, which I will admit I'm not totally familiar with the difference between the next-gen and the old-gen, he has struggled massively in this race. How big of a difference was that switch of cars? And is it as simple as what I'm attributing it to, that for some reason a guy who dominated at this racetrack has not since the cars changed?
Yeah, there are a lot of differences. Also, the bodies change in these cars. So Toyota got a new body a few years back, and there's things that they have to learn to adjust to. But I think it's more for Denny, just wrong place at the wrong time kind of thing, because he's always in contention. I'll mark my words, he will be leading this race on Sunday. So will Bubba Wallace. There's just guys that are inherently good. They used to say, Dale Sr. said, you could see the air. Not everybody can, but the guys that can are always running up front.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking obviously about some of the great storylines, and there are just a ton of them. One of them, of course, William Byron going for the three-peat. I mean, first, only 28 years old. What would that mean for his legacy if he goes ahead and pulls this off?
It'd be incredible. I mean, to do something, I mean, how long this sport has been around now, 77 years. For him to do something that's never been done at such a young age, it would be huge for him. He's the all-American kid. He started with iRacing. He was one of those little computer geeks playing racing on his computer. His family had nothing to do with racing. He fell in love with it, told his dad this is what he wants to do, and he lands with Hendrick Motorsports, and he wins the Daytona 500 twice. This guy, he's like the most eligible bachelor. Ladies, I'm like, we need a Taylor Swift kind of thing. Sydney Sweeney, this is your guy. Come on.
Nick was one of those computer geeks.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Jay, we've been so locked into football for the whole football season, and then we switched over to NASCAR. And we've been researching and finding our favorite storyline stuff that echoes with us. And earlier in our production meeting, it's you know what? I'm just going to ask Jamie what she thinks are the best storylines that we should be covering. What's sort of not maybe A1, but what's interesting sort of in the weeds to your expertise.
You know, I love those open cars that aren't guaranteed, that are here with their whole team. They threw these teams together to try to make the Great American Race because of what it means. And we're going to have 4 bummed out teams going home after tonight's race. And I think those stories, there's so many, but one that really stands out is Corey Heim. This young man, what he's done last year in the Truck Series, I do play-by-play for that series, he won 12 races out of 25. Broke records every single week, and there was something else that he was adding to the record books, became the champion. Now he's running 12 races in the Cup Series. He was incredible last night, punched his ticket to his first Daytona 500. I'm telling you, that's a guy to watch for. Maybe call him a dark horse.
Well, that's interesting because obviously a lot of guys have come from the trucks to NASCAR. How big of a jump is that? How difficult is it to make that switch, or is it at all?
It's huge. I mean, you ask any drivers that have raced a truck, and they say they are the hardest things to drive around here. When you get in a Cup car, a little bit easier, just more comfortable, but the level of talent. I mean, from the first place all the way to the last place, those guys are tough. They're the best in the world, and they got here all different backgrounds, but a lot of them came through the Truck Series.
In the 67 runnings of this race, the 4 most lead changes, 2 of the 4 happened in the last 3 races. There were 52 in 2023. There were 55 last year. Is that just coincidental, or is there something that has happened over the last few years that has led to this race having more wrecks down the backstretch, seemingly a little more randomness, and all the lead changes at the end?
Yeah, well, there's all of those things go into it. I can guarantee we're going to see a lot of wrecks. It just happened. You'll see the big one. But something that's happened, this phenomenon, is fuel saving. And that's really what brings the pack together. And they run at lower speeds to save fuel. And you know, it's kind of controversial, but watching at home, you can't tell the difference if they're going 180 versus 200 miles an hour. But that's added to it. I mean, these teams are so smart. The level of engineering, people don't give NASCAR credit. They are at the level of F1 when it comes to engineers. They've got these war rooms back in North Carolina stacked full of engineers watching every single thing that's going on right here at the racetrack. They know, they figure it out, they find a way.
So that I want to follow up on that, because it seems like every sport we cover, particularly baseball and basketball, to a lesser degree football, has changed massively just in the last, forget 20 years, 10 years, because of analytics revolutions and the different knowledge and information people now have and the way they execute it. It seems like, and if you can expand on it, that has hit motorsports as much as any other sport, and NASCAR is obviously included in that, where strategies that maybe when you first started covering motorsports were not even considered are now mainstream, and if you are not implementing them, you risk being left behind. Do I have that right, and can you explain that further?
Yes, it's all about technology, what it's done from what the pit crews are doing, going over the walls. I mean, these guys have we've got professional players, guys that played in the NFL. We've got a Super Bowl winner that goes over the wall for one of these teams, because that's how the team has evolved. These teams have evolved. Back in the day, they had a cigarette in their mouth. They're going over the wall, changing tires. Things have come a long way, but with drivers, it's the simulation. These guys like Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer, they didn't come up in that era of sitting in a simulator and testing out different setups for your car and saying what you like and don't like. And you can come to the track, unload, and you're pretty much in the ballpark. It's a completely different thing. And if you're an older driver and you try to do that, I've heard so many of them, they get sick in a simulator.
Oh, wow.
It's a young man's sport when it comes to technology. And guys like Kyle Busch, they want to be in the seat. They want to feel the car in their butt. And not all these younger drivers have to do that necessarily.
Who would you say is going to be the fan favorite here on Sunday?
Gosh, there's so many stories. If Kyle Busch wins, this is the craziest thing, because he's been like the most hated driver.
Yeah.
And that's kind of switched over to more so Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch, everybody's cheering for him. So I would say he'd be a sentimental favorite, maybe a fan favorite. I think if Brad Keselowski could win his first 500 with a broken leg would be incredible. And I just said people love to hate on Denny, but what he's been through in the offseason, lost his dad tragically in a house fire, the lawsuit, all the things that are now behind him, and losing the championship nonetheless, came so close to that. But I would say sentimental favorite, people would have to be happy to see him win it again.
Excellent. Well, Jamie, we're looking forward to the race. Thank you very much.
You're
Always
the best.
great seeing
It's a
you.
pleasure.
So good to
And
see you guys.
have a great, is this your 12th or 13th Daytona 500?
I don't know.
No way
I
to
think
tell.
It's my, it's my 20th year covering this sport.
Yeah,
I started when I was
congratulations.
5, okay?
Jamie Little, thank you so much. This has been excellent so far. And Brew was right. It is a little windy here. We made fun of you for demanding a blanket in Florida, but you might be right. Joining us now,
brought a coat over.
one of the voices of NASCAR on Fox, and no stranger to this track, Clint Bowyer, 10 NASCAR Cup wins. You've been on this track 15 times. Again, I am not the expert. You are. In my limited research, you have finished this race upside down and on fire.
I was going to say, you started with expert, and then you went to the fact that
Yeah.
I finished
To me, I just felt like that was a bad strategy. I just felt like it's a bad strategy.
in a Jack Daniels car.
Thank you for joining us. We're just talking about wrecks.
Yeah.
How much
Part
of
of
this race, early, late, middle, talk to me about, is just avoiding getting wrecked?
Well, attrition is everything. You're at a 500-mile race. I mean, first and foremost, that's a long time to be out there. A lot of moves, a lot of communication that can go right or wrong, right? That's the magic sauce that wins this race. Teamwork. This is a race that's unique in the sense that you need help. You can't go out and win this race carrying that only car on your shoulders, right? You have to go out there and work well with your teammates and get in the right position, and moreover, put those drivers in a situation where they have no choice but to push you to that win. So the chess match of Daytona is real in that sense.
So Kyle Busch, who we're going to talk to in a bit, yesterday said he thinks this might be 80% luck. And that struck me as, I'm curious. What's your take on that opinion?
Well, he hasn't won. This is 21 years for Kyle Busch and hasn't won the Daytona 500 yet. But best opportunity he's ever had with the RCR car, set it on the pole last night. So he will be leading this field to the green. Huge opportunity for him and Richard Childress, a shot in the arm for the team, much needed. But I agree. But the other aspect of that, saying there's a chance, baby.
Right.
20%'s better than none.
How much of we've had in the last decade, nobody who's led the most laps has won the race.
Yeah.
Wild just talking about that 3 times in the last decade. The only lap, the winner, the final lap was the only lap they led the entire race. It is something. Has there been something about the way this race is driven over the last 10 years that has added even more variance or randomness to a race that always had a fair degree of it?
Yeah, and that randomness changes year to year too, and season to season, and the car, right? This is a new design car. The Gen 7 car drafts much different than the old car did. So the same ingredients, the pieces of the puzzle change a little bit. Still need the teamwork that I've talked about. Still need the attrition be a part of it. Miss those, my gosh, those wrecks that happen. 90% of those aren't your fault. There is a few that have been my fault over the years that you've caused. Sorry, guys. That was my bad on me. A lot of money was just blown out the window. But, you know, you got to get all those put together. And as that race plays along and you go through these wrecks, you lose those teammates, you lose those opportunities, those pieces of your puzzle change, your dancing partner, if you will. Man, you show up to the dance and you had that date, but that date went to the bathroom and never came back. I got to get on the dance floor and find me another dancing partner. You know, that's real why this race is going down lap after lap after lap. The mistakes on pit road, you know, you lose track of all of those opportunities, the allies that help you win this race. So being able to adapt and figure it out on the fly, working with your spotter up there on the roof. He's literally right there behind us up there. He's your eye in the sky, right? And he has to help you guide the way. If he sees a line coming, this is a unique race in the sense that it's really not important what's out the windshield. Hopefully there's no cars in front of you out the windshield, right? But everything in the rearview mirror is very vitally important. You have to be able to block those runs, and that's where all these wrecks happen. You get all this energy, this momentum from 4, 5, 15 cars, whatever the case may be, pushing a line ahead, massive amounts of energy. You pull your old single hot rod over there and block that line. Yes, you needed to make that move to stay in the lead, but you've also stacked them all up and caused one of these massive wrecks like you see right there.
Yeah, and as we were watching the highlight earlier of your 07 finish, first of all, what in the world is going through your mind when something like that happens? And secondly, how do you bounce back for your next race or you know what I mean, and put a wreck out of your mind for your next race?
Well, you close your eyes first and foremost. Anybody that tells you they don't close their eyes when they're upside down is lying to you. That's the first thing you do. You know, when you get scared, just close your eyes for whatever reason. So you peek out every now and then. If you like what you see, go ahead and open them up. But at that moment, the funniest part about this story is Austin Dillon and Ty Dillon's dad. Mike Dillon was my spotter, one of the funniest human beings you've ever seen in your life. I'm sliding so long. I mean, if you look from the front stretch to where that wreck started off of 4, I mean, it's probably 400 yards down there. So I'm sliding on my roof forever, right? And he starts yelling at me, hold the brakes, because there was a car coming up that was going to hit me. But his nervous reaction was just to say, hold the brakes. And I'm like, what the hell's that going to do? The tires aren't even on the ground, you know? So it was a funny story when we got back of laughing at each other over that. But you just never know, guys. You have to put yourself in those situations. You have to go for it. It all comes down to positioning yourself on that last lap and doing, you know, the chess match of what I was talking about, of trying to situate yourself in front of somebody and put them, more importantly, in a situation where they don't have a choice but to push you.
We've got Coach Mangini on the show, and he helped us look at the football season, or at least me, in a different way, where I look at the football season from 17 games playoff.
That was sweet.
That was awesome.
Wow.
That was a test of the flyover.
American flex right there.
My goodness.
Okay. So 17 games in the playoffs, and he's like, you know what? As coaches and when players, we don't look at it like that. We break it down to 4 games at a time.
Yeah.
Who are we? These 4 games, do we need to change these 4 games? Second half of your 4 games. How do you look at this race? All the laps, do you break it down into segments, and what are you looking for in those segments?
It's a really good point, and this is why, in my opinion, this is our Super Bowl. It's unfortunately, you know, with this sport, it's not unfortunate, it's cool. The fact is, our Super Bowl is the first race out, right? Everybody's rusty, everybody's been sitting on the couch, everybody's doing things in the off season, trying to, because the off season, let's face it, it's very short. So everybody's rusty with this. You may have a new team. You may have a new spotter on the roof. That communication, all those things that are the winning secrets to this race.
But it's an odd mix to be rusty
now listen
for
to
your Super Bowl.
You go to that Super Bowl in those situations that, you know.
Patriots were.
Okay.
Sure looked like
Yeah, but they had to think about all these games and all this preparation. Think about if the football season started with the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What that would look
it'd be
like.
crazy.
Yeah.
How would you, you cannot preview that. Who's going to win? I don't know.
Patriots
Let's see
lost
what
to
happens.
the Raiders in week
Their Super Bowl in week 1 were oddly similar.
That's why this race is so unpredictable and so hard to figure out and to, you know, make a guess, a guesstimate of who's going to win.
Even if you get through the whole race without being wrecked, you don't end up on your roof. How physically exhausting is driving the Daytona 500?
We have power steering, you know.
So no, I mean, it's an honest question.
It's hot. You know, the biggest thing is you're just mentally completely drained. There is so much happening, so many decisions made just this fast, right? You have to make them so fast, and they're so important. You're either going to end up wrecked or you're going to end up holding on to that lead, and those, it's not, there's never a timeout like you have in football. Yes, there's a caution, I guess that's kind of our, but when you're out there under green flag conditions, it is nonstop. It's not like first down, second down, third down. You know, you have breaks. And honestly, from my new perspective of calling these races in the booth, that's challenging. You know, I watch football games, and I'm almost jealous because you guys get a chance to take a break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That down's down. All right, let's talk about the next setup. Read the defense. What are the offense looking like? What are we going to do for the next play? That's nonstop in NASCAR, and these teams are tasked, and you know, fuel mileage is a big part of this. Our track position and managing all those things. How are we going to set this up? You kind of run this race in reverse. And what I mean by that is you want to set yourself up for the next to last stop to get to the last stop to where you take as minimal fuel as possible, because that makes that pit stop faster. So you will gain track position, and you want to come out that last pit stop in the lead and hold on to it for dear life.
You keep mentioning the spotter on the roof. Take the driver out of it. Who is the most important person on the team race day?
Quick study, buddy. You're a very quick study.
Okay.
It's him. It's that spotter. If he's telling you the wrong information, that wrong line, the wrong timing of that, I said clear, not near. Buddy, I'm talking, I mean, it is so vitally important to be in, you know, in the front and winning that race, and not. I mean, and not means wrecked, by the way. You know what I mean? It's his communication and the timing of that. When he tells you clear up, it can't be a decision of the timing of you look in the mirror and agree with his statement. You have to trust in his words and do it immediately. If you don't, you'll be wrecked.
Okay, final. We're leaning towards guys. Do you have a winner for this, or someone that you think we should keep our eye on? How about that?
I'm putting the pressure on you first. You're up. Who are you picking?
Go, KW. You can have him.
Well, I'm a Logano guy. I'll put Logano.
Connecticut's known for its race car drivers. That's
he
what everyone's
he has
always
won the Daytona.
I know.
Well,
Logano is a solid pick.
I like Logano because he's been in first the last 9 Daytonas. He's like, I've been here. I think he was second in 2023.
So it's his time.
I like Logano.
I love it.
I'm sticking with Bubba Wallace right now.
Good one, man.
He's been good here.
I will be rooting for the Kyles. Larson or My pick is Ryan Blaney.
I feel like we're under attack.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to be the other guys with their boys.
My pick is Ryan Blaney.
I love it.
He's come close a bunch of times. He's one of the favorites. He won the season championship a couple years ago. Seems like this would be fitting for his resume.
I'm going to choose a guy that you would think is the obvious because he's just come off of another championship, his second. It's going to be Kyle Larson, but it's not because he hasn't been able to piece together good restrictor plate races and drafting style races like Daytona. He's always there, though. I'm telling you, he's knocking on the door, going down the back chute of the Daytona 500. You look over, there's the 5 ball going for it. You cannot be in that scenario that many times and be denied. I think it's his time.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's
Love
a
it.
great pick.
Great Clint Bowyer.
Thank you,
Clint,
bro.
thank you so
Hey,
much.
go Chiefs. How about
Yes.
that?
Thank you, bro.
We got through the segment without talking about a team that didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, you know what?
That was my goal.
Oh.
That was my goal. It wasn't even really close, to be honest.
But hey, and look what happened. Look how
Exactly.
boring that was.
Exactly right. Exactly, Clint.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.